Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. It's time.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We are live. What is going on, everybody? This is another live edition of something that I love to call Steve's Kitchen, here live on the Around the Point Network YouTube channel. We're also live over on Twitch and also over on Kick. Back in your life once again. What's going on, everyone? How was your weekend? How'd it go? I can't hear you, pero I hope it was a good one. I really, really do. It is September the 22nd, 2025. It is the first day of fall. I almost said spring there for a second. I just want to get this right. Is it the first day of fall? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is the first day of fall. Yes, it is. Today, the first day of fall. I am just happy as all hell. I said this before. I've said this before, and I'm gonna say this again. I've always said this, I've always been someone who's enjoyed the summer, but as I gotten older, I've learned to appreciate the fall, and I just can't wait. I'm excited. Um, Ticket prices for May 2026, cheapest seats are $850. You're going? I mean, the way you're saying, hey, it looks like you got the funds, bruh. Let me know, bruh. If you got the funds, you let me know if you're going, brother. Westy, yesterday was my birthday. I turned 31. Keep in mind, I found this channel when I was 23 years old. Brother, I hope you had a wonderful birthday. Nothing but blessings, prosperity, much love. All right. I hope yesterday was a good one. 31, brother. What I would give to be 31 again. What I would give. But I hope today was a good one. Everybody in the chat wish Weston a happy belated birthday. But on behalf of all of us here on the Around the Point Network, I want to wish you a happy belated birthday. There you go. Hell no, I'm a broke boy. Hey, man. Hey, look, bro. WrestleMania 41 tickets were high as hell as well last year. And I went. But hey, anything is possible. Anything is possible. AEW All Out was better than WrestlePalooza. Yeah, that's very and so it seems, right? So it seems that is what everyone is saying all over social media. Now, look, I know Raw starts in 58 minutes. I'm gonna get through this as best as I possibly can to get you guys out of here just in time for Monday Night Raw. All right, it is the post WrestlePalooza Monday Night Raw, and let's get into this, guys. If you have questions for me in the chat, feel free to drop in your questions. I'll be honest. Saturday for me, I had a busy one. It was my cousin's birthday on Saturday, so I didn't get to watch all of All Out live per se. I had to go to my cousin's birthday dinner, little get together. Like her birthday was Friday, but because she had work, she was off on Saturday. So it was decided, like a family, to do something that Saturday afternoon. So we all got together while all that was happening, right? So I missed a good chunk of it, but I did get to rewatch it, before I did this, obviously. But WrestlePalooza, I did get to watch live. Matter of fact, I was live with Romeo. Me and Romeo. Romeo was in Jersey. I met up with Romeo, and we watched WrestlePalooza and had a fun time just chilling with the homie. All right. and also met up with his cousins and stuff like that. It was a blast. All right. So that was my Saturday. Hopefully, you know, you guys enjoyed your wrestling fandom, whatever show you liked, whatever it is. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, real quick before I go any further, if you guys are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Share it through social media. And a lot of fun stuff. If you guys want to help out the channel, and I really would appreciate this completely, you guys can do it by the simplest way. Hit that like button. It does help out the channel and the videos and all that stuff in the YouTube algorithm. So whenever there's another creator doing a video and then on the related section, these videos can pop up as recommendations. It does help out the channel. Now, if you want to go to the further extent, and again, it's completely optional, but it's appreciated as always, leave a super chat. Super chats are available for you guys to leave. It's completely optional, but it is appreciated. It does go back to the channel. Hit the $sign that you see in the chat there, and it does, again, it pops up and it'll get your comment guaranteed read here on the show. But let's get into this. Okay, guys, let's get into this. And also, if you're on Twitch or if you're on Kick, hit the follow button there too. All right. So let's get into this. So I'm going to start first with All Out just to get this, out of the way, because All Out seems like a lot. I just want to knock this out as best I possibly can. Look, we all knew going in that All Out, started at 3 p.m. I know there's all this counter programming bullshit. I said my thoughts on that a while back, and I'll be honest. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. I'll let her know that you guys wished her happy birthday, belated birthday by this time. But be that as it may, it is appreciated. We knew going into All Out that it was going to start at 3 p.m. And I'll be honest, I think that is the way to go. I know people have asked this in the media scrum. I know Tony said that the reason for the 3 o'clock move because they found out that it was more successful during Forbidden Door. And we all know part of it may be true, but at the same time, and I know they also said all because of the UK audience and all that stuff. At the end of the day, people need to understand AEW is a US-based wrestling promotion. That just so happened to run the show in Toronto, right? Be that as it may, the reality is the reason why they moved their show to 3 o'clock was because WWE decided to counter program with Wrestlepalooza. Now, going into Saturday, we're like, yo, WWE stacked up this Wrestlepalooza. They were telling you this is going to be the most craziest shit you ever saw. Now that, a day or two has passed, makes you wonder, like, man, if you're AEW, are you really need to be that afraid? With what, again, they put out, like what WWE put out, that is, right? We saw what we saw. Okay. I think not, but at the same time, I do think doing the 3 p.m. time I do think, again, the 3 o'clock time is the way to go. Tyler writes here, hey, Steve, my suggestion for you, go ahead and watch GCW Homecoming LA, and keep in touch. Sure, I'll give it a check. Why not? Somewhere down the road. All right. So the show kicked off with Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus FTR. And the match went about 18 minutes. Look, they got the big reaction, that being Cope and Christian. They got this big reaction, right? The match, for what it was fine. A good way to kick off the show for the crowd to get the chants out of the way. It's one thing when you hear people sing Cope's theme song, on a weekly show. Don't get me wrong, it's cool, I guess, but when it's in a big building, like in Toronto, right, at the Scotiabank Arena, it's night and day. But as you expect, Adam Copeland was like Hope Hogan out there. Dude took a pile driver. He got hit by the ring bell or something. He got hit with everything, and he still managed to kick out of everything. Somewhere in this match, Beth Copeland showed up, the former Beth Phoenix. They played this music that you didn't know who it was for. And then you realize, oh, it's Beth. Like the word Beth popped up on the Titantron, and you kind of knew who it was. And she speared Stokely Hathaway. But when it was all said and done, Cope and Christian did get the win. And they, again, they were celebrating. Cope tried to hug Christian. Christian was like receiving the hug, but he didn't like give it back. And then out came Mother Wayne with Nick Wayne, who was in a wheelchair, right? And they were on the entrance ramp. And from behind, FTR attacked. Kip Sabian showed up and he handcuffs Cope. And they proceed to beat up Christian Cage and then Beth Copeland, Beth Phoenix, what have you, however you want to say. And that's how they end this whole thing. Cope was handcuffed. From the looks of it, this program will still continue. But yes, this match for what it was a fine match. Nothing to go crazy about up until the end. I will say this too, regarding the show, and I've always said this with AEW pay-per-views, they need to find a way to cut the time on this shit. The show went about 5 hours. At this point, look, I can make excuses on it, whatever the fuck it may be. But at the same time, it's like, bro, please, like, for real, like because when I got to Romeo's cousin's house for the watch party, whatever it was, we had to literally switch from Kyle Fletcher and Hangman to watch the opening of Wrestlepalooza, but we'll get to that in a bit here. But I do wish they'd work on that. We had Big Bill versus Eddie Kingston. I will be honest, this match sucked. Good to see Eddie Kingston back. Don't get me wrong, right? It's cool to see him back. But it's like, bro, we really had him show up here. It felt flat. There was a moment near the end there where Eddie Kingston went for a spinning like back fist that he does. He missed him. He literally missed Big Bill and got the 1, 2, 3. Look, like I said before, it's cool to see him back. But at the same time, it's like, you mean to tell me you could have had Big Bill show up and, issue an open challenge and then have Eddie Kingston come out? No, instead, let's announce this in advance. And it just got no pop. No one cared at all. And, or you know what? Save it for the Dynamite after All Out. Which, by the way, Tony Khan has an announcement coming, a big announcement this Wednesday. So we'll see what that is. But Eddie gets the win. After this, Brian Keith got into the ring, went to attack Eddie to no avail. Out came Hook to save, and it looks like Eddie Kingston and Hook are a team or a unit now, whatever it is. I know people were expecting Eddie Kingston to be involved with the Death Riders, right? Being that, the history of him and Claudio. Matter of fact, Eddie wore a Claudio Sucks egg shirt on his way to the ring. So there is that also. But I do think we'll get there down the road sooner than later. So we'll see. From there, we got Mark Briscoe and MJF in a tables and tax match. I'll be honest with you. I didn't hate this match for what it was. I just feel like MJF is above all this shit. He really, really is. Like, I know the night before, he wrestled in Mexico at the Anniversario show, the 92nd. That's right. The 92nd anniversary show for CMLL, the oldest wrestling promotion in the world. And he lost to Mystico. He lost to Mystico. And then he had to literally catch a flight, a red eye, from Mexico to Canada, to Toronto, to be at this show and wrestle early in the day. And look, the match itself, if you're into like the death match stuff and the blood and all this other bullshit, this was for you. This was for you. I just think at this point, MJF is above all this, in my humble opinion. What really shocked me, though, is that Mark Briscoe got the win. Keep in mind, too, MJF wore all white, so you knew he was going to bleed. The ring was just completely covered in thumbtacks to a point where you see the bottom of their boots, right? All just covered in thumbtacks. It's like they were skating in there for a second. Not safe at all. I know Bryce Remsburg posted a photo on his social media of all the thumbtacks that were on the bottom of his boot after the match. Holy shit. Just insane. But Mark Briscoe did get the win. And it's crazy to think, right? Like MJF, he's on this losing streak, right? He lost to Hangman Adam Page at Forbidden Door. He lost to Mystico at the CMLL Anniversario show. And now here he is losing to Mark Briscoe. But it shouldn't matter because he's holding this contract that thing's going to play into a story long down the road. So we'll see how that goes. But overall, look, if you're into the death match stuff, you're going to enjoy this match for what it is. From there, we had the Demand. That's their name, the Demand of Bishop Khan, Ricochet, and Toa Leona versus the Hurt Syndicate. The match for what it was okay. Felt like something you would see on Dynamite. But when it was all said and done, the Demand got the win. That's right. Bishop Khan, Ricochet, and Toa Leona got the win over the Hurt Syndicate. I know there have been folks who were saying that the Hurt Syndicate might get a new member. Maybe so. We'll see. From there, we got Mercedes Moné and Riho. And look, I don't need to go into this match. You already know. Like going into this, you already knew Mercedes Moné was going to eat up another one, beat another one. And that's what she did. She beat Riho, another one. They're going to have Mercedes Moné be the one to break that record. She will be the longest reigning TBS champion. And then no one's going to care. No one's going to care. She's out there carrying all these 9 belts. Half of them are from these Mickey Mouse promotion that no one's never heard of. Right? And look, for what it was, yeah, cool showing. But Mercedes Moné retains. From there, we go on to the unified international continental title 3-way match. Kazuchika Okada, Konosuke Takeshita, and Mascara Dorada. And I'll be honest, this probably 9 times out of 10 was the match of the night. They went out there, bro. They were just going crazy. And you got to see for the first time Konosuke and Okada mixing it up. Yes, even though they're both part of the Don Callis family, it was cool to see them both mix it up. There were moments where Konosuke, you thought he would have walked out the new champion, but in the end, Okada hits that Rainmaker on Mascara Dorada for the 1-2-3. I know the Continental Classic is happening real soon, and I do think, in my humble opinion, you do have Konosuke and Okada in the finals. They have to be in the finals. I don't want to hear that they're both in the same group. No, you keep them in the tournament, keep them apart, right? Blue group, gold group, however the fuck you want to do it. But they meet in the finals. And you want Okada to go old school, New Japan, G1 finals, Okada, that's where you get it. And that's where Konosuke pulls the upset. Or, in that matter of fact, he's still wrestling in Wrestle Kingdom, right? He's still getting that title shot at Wrestle Kingdom, or is that somewhere down the destruction? I don't know. Point is, though, Konosuke has to be the one to beat Okada for that title. But we'll get there when we get there. From there, we got Jon Moxley and Darby Allin in a coffin match. And like I mentioned earlier with the table and tax match, if you're into the death match, ultra violent stuff, once again, this match was for you. And I'll be honest, going into this, I think a lot of people had Darby Allin winning here. I think even if you remember in the preview, I referenced the betting odds. Jon Moxley was like at a plus 350. And what do you know? Big Money Mox wins again. Yes, the Death Riders came out. No one came out to help out Darby Allin. Nobody. Hell, Pac showed up with a new haircut, cut off his long hair, and we thought that was the end. But later on, we see backstage that they were going to, I guess, take him away or something, right? They had Darby still in the coffin, so John Moxley make the rest of the Death Riders like leave, like let them go in the truck, leave, right? And then John opens the coffin and Darby comes out and he attacks him, right? Hits him with the pipe. He puts John Moxley in a body bag. You see his head's like popping out, right? And you see the head popping out, and you see Darby Allin proceed to throw lighter fluid on the coffin, in the body bag. And then he lights it up. So the bag's on fire, and you see right away, real quick, people just showing up with the fire extinguisher the moment that shit lit up. It's like someone was right there already waiting for it. And this is not the end of it. I know from the looks of it, if I'm to throw a guess here, probably a blood and guts. Team Death Rider versus Team Darby. I said this, and I made a prediction on this. And I'm going to say it here. AEW, blood and guts, Full Gear. Before anyone goes, oh, what are you talking about? What? Full Gear? What do you mean? Hear me out. 5 years ago, AEW was supposed to do the first blood and guts at the Prudential Center. And you know Tony Khan, we all know Tony would bring something like this up at a media scrum, at a media call. Hey, the first blood and guts was supposed to take place at the Prudential Center. It's only right that we bring this blood and guts to Prudential Center. So I say, Full Gear, Prudential Center, you do blood and guts. Not Wrestle Dream. No. Full Gear, Prudential Center. Don't at me. And after that, we are so back. Darby Allin only second loss in a casket match. Second loss? Yeah. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right on that. But again, that's just my take on that. Like, look, Full Gear, Prudential Center, blood and guts. Do it, Tony. Do it. From there, we go to the women's Fatal 4-Way. We had Timeless Toni Storm, who requested this match. He wanted a Fatal 4-Way against Jamie Hayter, Tekla, and Chris Statlander. The match was okay, for what it was. I think somewhere at this point, people were kind of burnt out as well with all the stuff that was going on. And by surprise of everyone, Chris Statlander picked up the win. She pinned Toni Storm, like that shock pin. And Chris Statlander is the new AEW Women's Champion. I'm happy for her. If memory serves me correct, guys, help me out here. Chris Leclerc, I know you're in the chat. Correct me, because I know you're into this whole data and history stuff. And she's the first, I guess, the first woman to hold the TBS and the women's world title, right? That makes her the first? Someone let me know in the chat. I think she is. Is she the first woman in AEW history to hold the AEW TBS title and the AEW women's title? Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. Yeah, so she makes history. So good for her. I know people are saying that she might join the Death Riders. Let's hope not. From there, we had the 4-way ladder match. Brodito, the tag team champions, against Jet Speed, against the Don Callis family of Josh Alexander and Hechicero and the Young Buck. This was a very, and I'll be honest, I had fun with this match. I did, for the most part. I'll say this, Brody King is a lousy tag team partner. There's a moment in this match where Bandito is hanging, he's laying there on the bridge of a ladder. I think it was Mike Bailey who went for a jump. And he could have easily moved his partner out of the way so he doesn't get hit. He just lets him just get hit. No fucks whatsoever. Like, bro, what are you doing? That's your tag team partner. Mike Bailey took a fucking disgusting bump. What's it called? He did like a backflip, modified Meteora, I think it was. I want to say to Hechicero. And he literally, that being Speedball, got more of the ladder than he did Hechicero. All these guys went out there, did some crazy shit, right? They did. But that being said, look, I'll be honest, going into this, I thought that the Young Bucks were going to win. You know, they won the money, right? They won their $500,000, right? And then obviously Brodito picked up the W. But what happened after is what kind of, took people, by surprise here. That is the fact that Jack Perry made a return. And it looked like he was going to hug it out with the Bucks, and instead he flipped them off and he went to attack one of them, and they're beating each other up. And somewhere in this, Taz goes, "Oh, this has been stirring since BTE," meaning to understand what happened, you had to watch Being the Elite. And I'm like, do y'all realize how stupid that sounds? Telling people on pay-per-view, to understand what's going on, why this is happening, you have to watch the Young Bucks YouTube videos, their weekly vlogs, whatever the fuck it is. And again, to see what the fuck he's talking about, I had to watch the latest episode of BT, something I have not done since 2018. Okay? So I'm watching, it's near the end. In the end, there's like near the end, they say that the Young Bucks got a package. So they go to, I think it was Matt Jackson's home, right? And he opens the package. It's a knife with a note. Something about being stabbed in the back. That was it. But then it looked like the Young Bucks were going to get the upper hand, and then the lights go out, and then the video plays, and it's Luchasaurus, who was laying there getting all these injections and all this stuff. We've seen this video on social media, and people were connecting the dots here, right? Connecting the dots of that person who was, healing Luchasaurus was Jack Perry. And look, they realized Jack Perry's heel turn was not going to work for obvious reasons, right? So we get back to the ring, the lights are up, and behind the Young Bucks is Luchasaurus, chokeslam both of them, and then they both hug. That being Jack Perry and Luchasaurus. They hug and they play the old Jurassic Express theme song. I'll be honest, that was a cool moment. Seeing the hug and all that stuff and seeing the crowd doing this, that's cool. However, the fact that Taz had to tell people, you have to watch Being the Elite to understand what's going on. Nah, bruh, I'm good. Right? And then after this, look, I'll be honest, but good on them though. Like, hey, they're back as a tag team, and right now You can do, obviously, there's a program there, of Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks, right? There's that. You can do Jurassic Express and the uh was it Nick Wayne and when he gets healed up, of course, and Kip Sabian, right? All this stuff you can do. Hell, you could even do Christian Cage, Cope and Christian versus Luchasaurus and Jack Perry. Why the fuck not? Read some comments. Anika writes here, what's going on, Anika? Some shocking wins or good or some are just it just really depends on how her title reign goes. AEW needs an injection into the women's division, and instead winning that belt will now in the mix with Jamie, in the mix with countless angles. The reunion no one asked for. It was on one show 2 weeks ago. It was just them not answering his phone call. Wow. Again, I don't watch BTE, so I really wouldn't know, but still. Thank you for informing me on that. I really do appreciate it. Glad this is from Weston. I'm glad Jack Perry and Luchasaurus are back together now. We can push Wardlow and the Acclaimed again. Yeah, Wardlow gonna be out for a hot minute, buddy. And I'm glad you mentioned the Acclaimed. So backstage, you see Max Caster and Anthony Bowens arguing, and you see Jerry Lynn getting involved, say, hey, look, I worked hard to get you guys a tag team match for this Wednesday on Dynamite against the Swirl. The Swirl. I'm like, at first I had to double check. I could have sworn he said Swerve. I'm like, what the fuck? Swerve Strickland is healed again? He cured up? And I had to re-listen. No, it's the Swirl. The Swirl. And I'm like, I ain't gonna lie to you. When I heard that, I'm like,
who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
Literally. And they were a tag team from Ring of Honor. It's what is it? Fucking Lee Johnson and Blake Christian. Cora Jade's ex, basically. I'm good. And apparently, also, if they don't do this, they both get suspended without pay for a month. And I'll be honest, I'm all for this. I'm all for them getting back together because I feel like they realized as well that the singles run for both guys was just not going to be it. It was not going to work. Anthony Bowens had a chance. I'll be honest. Anthony Bowens had a chance. Max Caster, not so much. Not so much. Funny enough, Max Caster is the WrestlePro Gold Champion. That is an independent promotion in my area that is ran by Pat Buck and Kevin Matthews. They both work for AEW. So that's cool. Lee Johnson, who is married to the Triangle of Madness member Julie. I knew that part, but I'm like, yo, who the fuck called himself the Swirl? The fucking Swirl. This is what happens when you have nothing for people. Absolutely. From there, we go on to the world title match. Adam Page and Kyle Fletcher. Look, I'll be honest. Me and Romeo were watching at his cousin's house, and we turned the channel. We went to ESPN to watch WrestlePalooza. Yeah, bad timing here. It sucked that this match took place during the beginning of WrestlePalooza, which was John Cena, Brock Lesnar. I'm like, nah, bro, this can't be it, right? So we went back and rewatched it, what we missed. And look, this match went about 38 minutes. And I'm like, look, I get what they're trying to do. This is to see where Kyle Fletcher is at, right? And this whole story was, Kyle Fletcher's not ready. And he is a TNT champion. There could not have been no interference, or else Kyle Fletcher would have lost the match, and then he would have been stripped of his TNT title. I just felt like everything was just way too soon. Way too fucking soon. But sometimes you do this to see where someone is at. You want to see, okay, let's put you in the pressure cooker and let's see how you do. Now, I thought Kyle Fletcher had an amazing performance. No one's going to take that away from him. Kyle Fletcher is going to be a world champion one day for AEW. No doubt about it. That dude has a bright future ahead of him. Whether he stays at AEW, whether he goes somewhere else, that guy has a future. But that being said, this match did not need to be 38 minutes and 10 seconds. Did not need to be 38 minutes and 10 seconds. This could have easily been done in 20 minutes and we would have been fine. We would have been Gucci. Pero no, right? And look, he hung in there. He did the damn thing, right? There's that spot where Heyman does the red eye, I think it was, on the outside through a table. But when it was all said and done, Hangman Adam Page remains the AEW World Champion. What Kyle Fletcher what they need to really do, this is an AEW thing. This is an AEW issue. They need to revive that TNT title. That's what they have to do. They got to give it something. Because right now it just feels like a dead title. It's even worse when your champion loses on the pay-per-view. You know? But again, overall, I thought All Out. Overall, I thought the show, from a wrestling standpoint, it was good. Right? But this show, again, on a night where you're being counter-programmed, and you know, hey, it's ESPN. Nah, just cut this for next time. But I know there's people also who had issues with HBO Max, where if you are a member of HBO Max, you get the pay-per-view at a discounted $39.99 and not the traditional $50. I know there are people who have HBO Max and ordered the pay-per-view and were billed $50, which was crazy. You know? Talking about having nothing for the Acclaim, let one of them face Kyle for the TNT title. They could have had Anthony Bowens be the guy. Let him be a contender, just as they could have done the same thing. And I said this a while back with, God damn, I'm fucking having a brain fart right now. What's this dude's name? What's this fucker's name? Preston Vance. You remember him? I remember him from the Dark Order. Remember? I'm like, yo, they need to really get behind this guy. Do something with him, right? You think they did? Nope. If memory serves me correct, he's some varsity jock on Ring of Honor being wasted away. If memory serves me correct. You know what I mean? So, and they need to do something. But that was, that was All Out 2025. Now let's get into WrestlePalooza. Oh boy. So let me read the grade, because ESPN did not hold back their feeling towards ¿cómo se dice? They did not hold back their thoughts on WrestlePalooza. And again, this is ESPN we're talking about here. This is ESPN. I guess today they put they gave their grade for the show. They gave the show a C. This is from ESPN. I even have it right here, by the way. So just so you guys know, I'm not capping. In quote, the excellent Vaquer versus Sky match saved this show from being truly average. It was a phenomenal display inside the square circle. Everything else was either underwhelming, referring to the short Rhodes and McIntyre match, or a setup for a future match, Lesnar dominating Cena, for a card that promised to have epic moments if fell short of expectations. That is coming from ESPN. That is coming from ESPN. And I know people were like, are all ha about this. I just think what it comes down to is that, ESPN is rating this as a sport. Just the same way they would grade a game, a team, a player. So they're not holding back. They are not holding back to how they are rating WWE in this situation, That's what it boiled down to. Again, they want this WWE pay-per-view to be very sports-like. So they're going to get criticized as if they were, a league, a team, or what have you. That's what it boils down to, No offense, but nobody's buying ESPN Plus for something other than wrestling. So they need not commentate. Well, that's the thing, Anika, maybe people are, though. I mean, look, there's people out there, like I've said this before, I have ESPN Plus, right? Once the UFC moves to Paramount, you would think, hey, I should just cancel my ESPN Plus subscription. But no, I also watch, La Liga, which is the Spanish soccer league. I watch, La Bundesliga, which is the German soccer league. There's some stuff that I will still need ESPN for, but I do think at the end of the day, to ask people to fork over $30, and I found this crazy. I posted this on my Twitter too. Like, okay, you're charging fans $30 for ESPN Unlimited, okay? And I love the fact that Wrestlepalooza was sponsored by Xfinity. I have Xfinity. But yet Xfinity does not include this ESPN Unlimited under their as a provider, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I just found it hilarious, right? But I get what you're saying. But you never know. There's some people who might, fork over the money. Or you know what? I've seen people complain online, oh, WWE is stealing people for their money and all the other bullshit. And I'm like, there's a thing called the VPN. Stephanie McMahon on her podcast promoted a VPN, oh my God, like a website or whatever the fuck you want to call it. A VPN she promoted on her podcast. To ESPN, we're not happy about, but she did it anyway. So they're telling you, yeah, get a VPN. It's free on Netflix. I have a VPN. I'm not going to fork over $30 a month. Are you kidding me? But then again, it is cheaper to get a WWE PLE on ESPN than it is to buy an AEW pay-per-view as an HBO Max member. Remember that. AEW pay-per-views as an ESPN, AEW pay-per-views as an HBO Max member, you're paying $39.99. Getting WWE PLEs on ESPN, $30. $30. Just remember that. Remember that, folks. So that's $30 for every PLE. No, so it's a service that you're paying for the entire ESPN. It's a service. It's basically through this ESPN, you get all the features. ESPN, every documentary, all the games, like I guess, soccer, college basketball, college football, and then also the WWE stuff. So that's part of a package. The ESPN Unlimited, that's part of the package, and that is where WWE's PLEs are going to be on for $30 a month for the entire thing. I'm a Barca fan, so I watch La Liga. I also watch football and baseball stuff. Fair enough. So let's get into this. I'm gonna knock this out best I possibly can. Look, they promised you big things on this show. I did enjoy their new Then Now Forever intro. I did enjoy that. I did enjoy the video package, right, of ESPN and WWE and all that other stuff. I thought that was cool, right? We had Triple H welcoming everyone into the show and all that stuff, and as usual, right? And then we get to the first match. John Cena and Brock Lesnar. Look, I said this going in, I don't expect nothing new from Brock, other than the fact that Brock now looks yoked up. Brock looks like, yo, give this guy a cup. Call USADA. Call USADA. Oh my goodness. And he went out there and it was basically a repeat, a small scale repeat of SummerSlam 2014. The only difference is here that Cena in this match got some offense in. Crazy enough, like, Cena came out with all of those kids. And at the end of it, some of those kids were crying. Because, yes, Brock Lesnar beat John Cena. The match went about 8 minutes and 48 seconds. This is right now the worst rated match on Cage Match. It has a 2.34 rating. I just think also it's a lot of people who did not like the match, but also it's people who are just not down with Brock Lesnar being back in WWE programming. So you have people who, are letting their, how do I put this? Who are letting their point of view be the one to dictate their thoughts on this match. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people, I'm not going to watch that match because Brock is on. I'm not watching. Blah, 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 blah. It is what it is. But look, the match for what it was, I'm like, yeah, I'm not surprised what happened. There's some people who are saying, maybe this could be used for another match, which possibly might happen. We might see Cena and Brock again, and this time that could be Cena's last match. His last opponent could very well be Brock Lesnar at Saturday night's main event. And that is where John gets his win and he goes off into the sunset. It's very possible. But yeah, this match was just, yeah. From there, we go to the Vision. By the way, also, Paul Heyman introduced Brock Lesnar. I thought that was pretty cool, right? For old time's sake. We had the Vision of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed versus the Usos. The Usos came out to their old theme, right? And then they played Jay's theme. They did it again, right? The whole yeeting throughout the crowd. The match was fine for what it was. There was a moment in this match where Jay got busted up because he hit the chair. I think it was on Braun. And it just ricocheted back into his face. And he started bleeding like a faucet, like bleeding all over the place. And that led to the Vision getting the win, right? The Spear, the Tsunami, and obviously the Vision did get the win. Very well done. I did not mind this at all. You want to give the Vision some momentum. Remember, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed lost to Jay and Roman at SummerSlam. So you want to, even though it's not Roman in this match, it's still part of the family. So you want to give the Vision here some momentum, give them something here. So that was cool to see. But yeah, we'll see what happens tonight on Raw. What's going to be the follow-up? From there, we go to Stephanie McCurr versus Io Sky for the vacant women's championship match. This was the match of the night for this show. Dare I even say the match of the weekend? It's up there. It's this one, and it's the three-way from All Out between Okada, Takeshita, and Mascara Dorada. They're right there. These two women went out there. They tore the house down. Hands down. And if you remember, Io told Asuka to not be at a ringside. She got this on her own. And now I'm pretty sure Io Sky wishes Asuka would have been there because it backfired. And Stephanie McCurr is now the new WWE Women's World Champion. She celebrated with the title. Her dad was there too. So there was that moment, right? This is the first time I think her dad ever got to see her wrestle. So that was pretty cool. And good for her. Good for her. I thought going in, I thought Io was going to win. But from the looks of it, not. And from the looks of it, too, we could be seeing down the road, maybe in Australia, Stephanie McCurr versus Rhea Ripley. And I'll get to that in a second. I'll get to that. Hear me out. From there, we go to, but yeah, that was the match of the night. We had AJ Lee and CM Punk versus the division of Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. This was AJ's first match back in 10 years. And she was off in some parts. But overall, though, she got it down. She again, she hit her spots. There was a moment there where she was, beating up Seth Rollins. This match just went everywhere, right? Completely everywhere. And there was a moment there where AJ hit the stomp on Rollins. But when it was all said and done, AJ Lee made Becky Lynch tap out in the Black Widow. Now that makes me believe that AJ gets herself a future Intercontinental Championship match, the women's Intercontinental Championship match. Maybe at Crown Jewel. It's very possible. Very possible. We'll see where that goes. But again, it's good to see AJ Lee back in the ring. It's crazy. If you think about this too, right? For all the people that are crapping on the show, let this sink in for a second, bro. AJ Lee's first match back in 10 years, it's on ESPN. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought, right? Can Braun do his own thing, please? Soon. Would you say that the women's wrestling is better than the men's nowadays overall? In some aspects, yes. In some aspects, absolutely. I didn't know it cost $40 basically to watch AEW, and my AEW friends were talking shit for me spending $30 on WWE content. Well, now you know. The more you know now. The more you know. But yeah, that match went about almost 30 minutes for the most part. We got the world title match, Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. Look, I feel like it could have been way much better. I know there are reports that Orton was supposed to be involved and stuff like that, but there was a moment there, and again, the story was Drew got cocky, and that is what cost him. Cody does win. He retains. He beats Drew McIntyre, right? There's a moment there when they're on the outside, and Drew went for the Claymore, and he missed Cody. His whole leg went into the fucking the bottom part of the announcer's desk. So when that happened, all I'm thinking was for Drew McIntyre, So yeah, Cody capitalized and he beats him. Cody's still champion, even though I would not mind like a surprise, But here's what we know now. At Crown Jewel, it will be Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins because that's what they do every single Crown Jewel, right? And it's a Riyadh season show. So you already know on that one, Roman Reigns will be there. Matter of fact, Roman Reigns is on the poster for he's on the poster of Crown Jewel. You know why he's on the poster of Crown Jewel? Because it is a Riyadh season show. That pays more. So of course Roman will be on that show. Hands down. And hands down. I agree. This should have not been the main event. I agree. To me, if you want a main event, I would have done either the mixed tag team match between Becky and Rollins versus AJ Lee and Punk, or you know what, the women's championship match between Stephanie McCurr and Io Sky, because regardless, you're going to get a new women's champion. That's just me. Okay. And also Stephanie McCurr versus Tiffany Stratton, it looks like is the way to go too. Coming out of all this, because it's in Australia, and I think the Monday, because Raw will also be in Australia, you do Rhea Ripley versus Stephanie McCurr. I think that makes sense. for the most part. We'll see. Real quick, couple of quick stuff here before I wrap this up here. They announced on TNA. They announced that it will be Mickie James going into the TNA Hall of Fame. They announced it. She will be going into the TNA Hall of Fame. The legendary 5-time Knockouts champion Mickie James will be inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame on October 12th at the Songa Center at Lowell, Massachusetts. So good for her. Deservingly so. And also, what turkey you want, turkey gets. It's actually spelled Turki, but I get what you're saying, brother. I get what you're saying. Thank you. And absolutely, it is nice that Mickie is going into the Hall of Fame. But look, I told you guys, I get you guys out of here before Monday Night Raw begins. I told you guys this, right? Come on. When in doubt, trust Steve, y'all. Trust in me. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me. Thank you all for watching. I know I should have done this way earlier, but, hey, things happen. But if you've not followed me yet on social media, it's at Heel Steven. Follow the Around the Point Network over on X at AT Point Network. I'll be back live tomorrow with the Raw Rundown. My thoughts on Monday Night Raw tonight. That goes live in 5 minutes. That's going to be it for me, guys. Much love to all of you. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, guys, as for me and for the gang, this has been Steve's Kitchen here on the Around the Point Network. See you all tomorrow for the Raw Rundown. Peace out, everybody.
Listen. Fuck up. Get out.